There is only free will. Consciousness only knows free will. Nothing ever happened to you. Everything only ever happens by you, through you, by your consent, by your choice. Not necessarily on this level of your consciousness. You don't know the choices you make all the time. But that doesn't mean that your overall consciousness is not making the choices of what you experience and when you experience it. There is only free will. However, upon birth, to an extent, and in the few years after birth, we have, through immaturity, and that's not a judgment, it's just an innocent observation of reality, in a sense, in our civilization, in our society. Through immaturity, through not knowing how to take up our own perspective, our own vibrational alignment, to not know how to vibrationally, consciously take care of ourselves in a deliberate, co-creating way. We have given away, seemingly, our free will. To what? To another portion of our consciousness. So now we call that the unconscious and the subconscious or the higher conscious. But really, in a sense, it's all just our own consciousness. But we have delegated certain responsibilities, certain tasks, to an automatic type of mind. Some of it will always be governed by our super alive, active, higher self-consciousness. But some of it is given away out of choice to what we would call an unconscious mind. Because we did not take up the responsibility, which is really the same as duty, honor, joy, bliss. That's what true responsibility is. It's the bliss of taking care of yourself, of honoring your desire, of honoring your alignment, of honoring who you really are, of honoring the play, what you came here to do. So we've given away that responsibility, that task, that honor, that duty, that joy, that bliss. We've given that away to another portion of our consciousness because we basically said, I am not grown up enough yet. I have not gained enough perspective yet to take care of that portion of what needs to be taken care of consciously. And so as you grow up, ideally the intention is that upon birth, you give away, this is natural, you give away a portion of your responsibilities to another level of your very own being, your very own consciousness. Then to your portion of your personality consciousness, that other portion now seems like it's the unconscious mind. But it's not really unconscious because there is no such thing. It's simply unconscious to this level of your consciousness. But it's fully conscious to that level of your consciousness. So there is no unconsciousness, not really. So we've given that away. That's a natural part of being born in this particular density or vibratory state of our civilization. And then the ideal idea is that over the course of our growing up, we regain perspective. And as we regain perspective, as we remember who we are, as we start to take care of ourselves again, deliberately, consciously, intentionally, vibrationally, what happens is that we quite literally start downloading more and more of that which we have given away upon the time of birth into our conscious responsibility, which is the same as our joy, our duty, our honor, our bliss, our service. And so the more you grow up consciously, the more active conscious mastery you regain of what you deliberately, in a sense, gave away to another portion of yourself. And so you start thinning the lines between your conscious and your unconscious and your higher conscious and all these different labels. They start to become more and more one unified flow, one unified consciousness. That is another way of saying you become more and more in alignment with who you really already are. And you start to make active more of your capacity. So in that sense, you regain free will. Free will is always already the case, but you've pretended for a while to create this veil, this separation between my conscious and my unconscious or my higher conscious. And now what you're doing literally by learning to take care of yourself again vibrationally and consciously and choose your state of being in any moment and choose to honor your desire and choose to actually act on your excitement and choose to think things into creation instead of just struggling your way through creation, but actually to imagine it into creation and then to simply take the natural actions that follow as a physical complementation to that creation process, very effortlessly so, because you don't create a resistance to yourself anymore. You simply create and then you act it out. You're not creating one thing and then trying to act out something else. Your creation, your imagination, and your actions are now aligned, so you don't experience as much, if any, resistance in the flow of action anymore. When you do that, when you do all of that, when you expand your consciousness, you regain your free will, which you never lost. You just kept it in storage for a while. You delegated it to another portion of your consciousness. But now you're regaining that free will. What comes with free will? Power. Again, just to use the term, spiritual power, which we could omit, but just to clarify, I'm not talking about the kind of power that Hitler was after. I'm talking about a spiritual type of power, for lack of a better word, a vital type of power, a vital type of energy, an alignment itself. The ability to, in a sense, move mountains out of alignment, out of effortlessness, out of deliberate alignment. So when you regain your free will, more of it, your energy amplifies, it accelerates, it expands, and you literally become more of who you already were. Simply forgotten before, but now remembered. And the single most powerful way to do this is to dare to dream big. So, if you wish to go from unconscious, from victim, to free will, to power, then dare to dream big. Don't give up. Don't give up. Doesn't matter how much you need to struggle, because it is through dedication to your dreams, whatever they may be, that you will find freedom from struggle. But you can't find freedom from struggle by not ever trying to go big, but not ever trying to desire what you desire, but not allowing that desire in. You need to allow your desires in. You need to allow that alignment in, that truth of who you are. You need to allow yourself to be inspired and to not block that out of fear. It is only through accepting your purpose, your blueprint, your dreams, that you can actually learn to navigate them with less and less and less and less resistance, with less and less and less and less fear. And what you'll experience, if your journey is anything like mine, which I assume it is because we're all the same capacity, just regaining more of itself, activating more of itself. So the process is really the same in everyone. You will start to experience what I mean when I say the word power. It's a very immediate, it's hard to explain, but it's like a state. We could call it a state. It's a state of power. It's a state of influence. But it's an influence you've already had. It's just something you forgot. It was something you became blind to. But when you remember, when you regain your free will, you're also regaining your consciousness, and you're regaining your inner power to move mountains, to create, to generate. And so it is from this space, from this state of power, of remembrance, of alignment, of prioritizing your higher self, that you will be able to feel what I mean when I say power. And you will start to see the contrast of yourself with other people's experiences. Again, just so that it makes it even clearer to you the nuances of how you have changed and what this is all about and how this works. And you will feel quite literally like you are becoming your environment, because you start to see that your environment is nothing but your own energy creation. It's your own painting. And so you become it. The more you increase your state of power, alignment, and remembrance, the more you'll become the energy that you generate. And the less you believe yourself to actually be separate and be just this physical being. So another way into non-duality or into inseparability, another way into realizing that you're not an isolated, separate body-mind, but that you are actually all that is to actually amp up your power, your state of remembrance, your free will, you taking care of yourself vibrationally to such an extent that your consciousness starts to bleed out of its skin, start to become more of what it already was, because now it's no longer giving away all that power to something else, therefore making itself small and physical and separate. Now it's regaining its strength and it's expanding, and inevitably, symbolically, that has to expand beyond the illusion of the physical body. So you can start to feel that you are the energy that you generate, and everything that you generate, everything that you perceive, is your generation. It's what you generated. It's the energy of your being. So you become more of that. So you start to feel more and more that you are your environment. And environment takes on a different connotation, different meaning, a different experience. It's no longer consisting of objects as much. It's more just a field. It's a field of malleable potency, of malleable potential energy that just so happens right now to be shaped in this particular way, but only because it matches certain frequencies within your consciousness domain, within your state of being. But you realize, you feel that as you change your state of being, that the malleability of that clay-like, water-like, air-like substance that we could call your higher self energy, which generates your circumstances, your environment, you very much feel that that is simply just a blob of water in a sense, containing the potential for any type of creation. And that if you insert into that field, if you overpower that field with another deliberate, intentional, vibrational creation, it will respond to you and it will shift around that field to look a certain way. So less and less do you feel like you are a physical creature walking around in an actual physical universe that exists whether or not you're there. In other words, you go from feeling like this universe is an independent universe and you're just a visitor, a physical visitor in an actual universe. And the more you'll experience yourself as being the creator generating this universe inside of your own field of consciousness, of water, of energy. And as you make changes vibrationally, you make changes circumstantially and environmentally, in that sense. So if you want to be an environmentalist, this is the way to do that. Quite literally, you will change your environment by changing your frequency and knowing that you are the creator of what you see. And automatically less and less you'll feel separate. Automatically less and less you'll feel physical. Automatically less and less you'll feel isolated. Automatically less and less you'll feel lonely. Automatically less and less you'll feel like lack actually exists. Automatically less and less you'll perceive objects. Instead, you'll perceive abundance, infinity, endlessness, energy, light, unity, inseparability, creation, state of being, non-physicality, consciousness. So you are in the process of becoming, again, your own inner God state.